Oh, hi, hello everybody. My name is Prasad, and I live with my wife and kids in San Diego, California. Today we are at my brother-in-law's place in Houston, in Midtown Houston, and I'm here with Uncle, who has asked me to,
Yeah.
explain our journey from San Diego to Houston. By the way, we did not fly from San Diego to Houston. We drove all the way, which is close to 1,500 miles from San Diego to Houston. And this whole 1,500-mile trip, we initially did a trip similar to this in during COVID time in December of 2021, and we wanted to. At that time, we didn't want to fly. We thought driving was safer, so we did the journey. We really enjoyed it, and we thought maybe we should recreate that experience, and that is why we did it again this time in December of 2024. And we have two kids. The girl is 12 years old and the boy is 8 years old. And with two kids, my wife and I drove for 2 full days to reach Houston. By the way, we made sure that we will drive only for 8 to 9 hours a day and not more than that. So this entire 2 days we drove for 8 to 9 hours, and we actually took rest at a place called Las Cruces in New Mexico. So San Diego to Las Cruces is one day, and Las Cruces to Houston is the second day. And here, I would like to say that when we drove, we tried to start very early in the morning. We tried to start at like 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning, and then the kids are all asleep in the car. And by the time they wake up and we are ready for breakfast around 8:39 in the morning, that is 4 hours, 4.5 hours of driving. And in that time we cover like close to 300 miles, which is half the entire distance we have to drive for the day. And then we have another 6-7 hours to drive the rest of the 300 miles before we reach our hotel in Las Cruces. And once we get to our hotel, our kids like to relax. We check in, we go to the pool. We always find a room, a hotel with an indoor pool. So regardless of the weather, our kids get to enjoy the pool. Then we come back, eat, and go to sleep very early. The next day, we do the same thing. We get up and we try to leave at 4:30 in the morning, and we drive and the second day we drove all the way to Houston. And by the way, we thought with two kids it is going to be a little painful, but the kids were super sweet. They really enjoyed the trip and they had a lot of fun. And our first trip was during the time of COVID. This is our second trip. The kids are a little older. They enjoyed the trip a little more or even better than last time. And we are also having fun. So thanks everybody for letting me narrate my experience here, and thank you uncle for letting me tell this to everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. But, can I ask you one question?
Sure.
So I know San Diego is in California. So which all states you crossed and which all highways you crossed?
Yeah,
Can you
okay.
tell me?
Yeah. So from San Diego, the we come through Arizona, New Mexico, and the entire Texas stretch to get to Houston. From San Diego through Arizona and until Tucson, we took I-8, Interstate 8, and from that point on, we took Interstate 10 all the way to San Antonio and Houston. So that is the route we took. Interstate 8 and Interstate 10.
Okay. So you crossed which all states?
Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas.
Oh, okay. So you stayed in Tuscan, you said, no?
No, we went through Tucson, Arizona,
Tucson. That is in Arizona. Oh.
but we stayed in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
What is the landscape you have seen in California to Texas? Can you just tell?
Yes. So when you're leaving San Diego, being coastal, we will have to go through a small mountainous portion before we get into the California desert. And from that point on, while going through the Yuma, Arizona, all the way to Tucson, it is kind of a deserty, cactusy environment that you get to. And after that, it is pretty much flatland, or from Arizona all the way to New Mexico. and there is some, but there is some vegetation all this while. After we cross out of New Mexico and we enter Texas, the first big city is El Paso, and after that it is you have to drive for almost 400 miles in the West Texas desert until you reach San Antonio. And in the West Texas desert, it's all again pretty much flatland. Sometimes there is no vegetation at all, but as you get closer and closer to San Antonio, the vegetation starts to change. It becomes a little greener, and you'll start to see small mountain ranges, and then you'll find a lot of windmills as you get closer and closer to as you get more and more east to the eastern part of Texas. And then from San Antonio onwards, it's all I-10. It's much more greener until you reach Houston.
Was there any surprise happened while coming to Houston, or everything went as per plan?
Everything went as per plan, primarily because this is not the first time we are doing this trip. Since we did it last time, we knew exactly what to expect from this trip, and there was no surprises at all. We planned it. We planned it a certain way because we knew the kids like to sleep in the car, and the kids want to be awake for no more than 5-6 hours during the journey. So we planned it in a certain way, and it worked out just like that.
You traveled in December, end of December now. It's almost New Year now. So, what was the climate? Was there any snow in the road, on the roads, or everything was
Yes.
just
No, there was no snow at all. In fact, one good thing about taking the I-8 and the I-10 route is that it gets cold, especially Arizona, New Mexico. During this time of the year, it gets very very cold. But we haven't seen snow, and we were not aware of any kind of snow places in these routes. So it gets cold, but it doesn't get snow. So usually, it's there should not be any road closure due to snow or anything of that sort while we are making this trip.
okay. You drove only during daytime, right?
Yes, for most part we drove only during daytime. Like we made sure that we left early in the morning, but by 6:30 we start to see sunrise, and then by 3 o'clock we are either in Houston in my brother-in-law's place, or we are at the hotel in Las Cruces, New Mexico. So we try to make sure that we don't drive after 3:30 in the afternoon, so that we are there to take a rest. The kids get to enjoy. Then we go for an early dinner and we go to bed early.
So, how many hours at one stretch you drove and your wife drove, something like that? Can you just tell?
Yeah, so we have a 7-seater, and that 7-seater on a full tank gives us close to 300 miles per tank. So depending on whether we want some restroom breaks or whether we want a gas break, the best we can drive is almost close to 250 to 300 miles. So sometimes at a stretch we have driven for more than 3.5 hours, but we usually try to break every 2 hours. So every 2 hours we stop for a restroom break, and the next time we stop for a restroom break and fill up the gas. Then we try to break every 2 hours just to stretch ourselves. But when we stop, we make sure that we don't stop for more than 15-20 minutes, because if we break more than that, then obviously the trip becomes longer and longer.
Did you keep any food addition or for any surprise, or was there any highway blockage or road repairs and you had a long queue?
No, we did not have any highway blockages or road repairs. It was pretty much open most of the time. There were two border patrol checkpoints that we had to cross while we got here. So there was a small diversion that we had to take, stop at the border patrol stations, which was, it delayed our trip by almost like 5 to 10 minutes, not more than that. But there were no road closures. Everything was good. And yes, my wife packed a lot of food, primarily because our kids, we are gluten free, so we don't find a lot of good food at regular stops. So my wife cooks a lot of home cooked food so that we don't break a lot while we are traveling. And every time we stop for a gas or restroom, we just make sure we quickly eat whatever home cooked food we have, and that is why it takes only 15-20 minutes for us to have that break, and then we are done with lunch or breakfast, and then we continue on.
I know you are a vegetarian possibly, or what type of food do you prepared at home for such a journey?
My wife prepared a lot of cut fruits, and then she made a lot of variety rice like tamarind rice, lime rice, and all that stuff. So those kind of food, they actually don't get spoiled in one day. You can preserve them for 2 days, and then so on the way, and along with that, she prepared some vegetables also. So every time we break, we take some disposable plates and utensils. We eat some variety rice with vegetables, and then on the trip, we usually have those cut fruits, and so that we don't feel hungry during our trip. And every time we break, we don't have to look for a Subway or a Denny's and stop and eat. And we can just every time there's a rest stop, we just we have some food quickly, and then we continue on journey.
Thank you. I know you started from your home on a year-end day, almost year-end week, last week of the 2024. Now you'll be returning New Year.
Yes.
And you have already planned for it. So would it be, coming to Houston may be very inspiring, or very, you have a planned vacation and you are going home back home. Any trip planning for going back?
Yes. While we are going back, instead of driving for 2 days, we are going to drive for 3 days. And the extra day comes from the fact that we are going to break at a place called North Carlsbad in New Mexico. And over there is this Carlsbad Caverns National Park. We are going to go to Carlsbad Caverns National Park, spend close to half a day there, looking around the Carlsbad Caverns. That is a good. There are two reasons why we are doing this. One, for us, it's a good break while we are driving back. Secondly, this is a kind of a place which we will never, fly down to see Carlsbad Caverns. It's not that popular or that big enough that you have to fly down from Sandiego to see this place. The only reason why we get to see these small places is because we are driving through, and in the way, we have these small places to see. So we take a break. And this time we are going to Carlsbad Caverns National Park, and then we are driving all the way to Sandiego. The last time during COVID, when we came, we did something similar. Instead of driving back for 2 days, we drove back for 3 days, and we broke for one extra day in New Mexico. And over there, we went to this place called White Sands National Monument, because again, it's a very small very small, not very popular place to see. And since we are driving through that, we decided that we will take a break one day, go through that White Sands National Monument, and then drive to Sandiego. And the kids again enjoyed it. If you guys get a chance, you should definitely go to White Sands National Monument, because in New Mexico, while you're driving, you see flatland, regular terrain, and then you go to a point wherein for everywhere your eyes can see, all you will see is white sand. You will think you're in the middle of a white desert or something, and it's a very great place to see. It's, again, you have white sands, you have a lot of sand dunes, and there you can get a big plastic tube, and you can do tubing in those sands. And if you take photos, they come out awesome. You will be there, and around you it is only white sand, and it is amazing. You should go to that place if you get a chance. And we were lucky, because when we were driving back from Houston, we stopped at Las Cruces, New Mexico, and we went to this White Sands National Park. This time we are stopping at North Carlsbad, New Mexico, and we are going to Carlsbad Caverns National Park.
Thank you. One more question. During this, I know you travel with the very small kids of 12 and below. Did they demand anything new, or did they demand to see any place like that, or you have included something for them?
No, they did not demand anything. They are very excited to come to my brother-in-law's place in Houston, because their cousins are here. Their cousins are 3 years and 1 year old, so they are very excited to come to Houston to see it. And on the way back, we told them that we are going to Carlsbad Caverns National Park. They are excited about that, and my kids love going to a hotel room at 3 o'clock, checking in and jumping into the swimming pool. So those two things are what keeps them motivated for this entire trip.
So they learned swimming here or they learned it somewhere else?
No,
At school?
we no, we every summer we put them for a swimming class, and they both picked up swimming during summer. And every time they get an opportunity to swim, they swim, and they are not professional swimmers, but they know how to swim and have fun whenever they get a chance.
Apart from swimming, what they go for extracurricular something? Can you just tell?
Yes, so they learn Carnatic music, they learn Veena, they learn karate, and apart from that, my son tries to learn drawing on his own. My daughter learns crochet on her own, and my daughter likes to draw too. But classes wise, yeah, they go to karate, they go to singing class, and a instrument class.
Do they play chess?
They play chess, but it's more of a fun thing. We taught them the rules. They know how to play chess, but we don't do it on a regular basis. Sometimes, when as a family we have time, we just sit together and we play as a team. They know how to play, but they are just.
Anand and Pragyananda, they are all famous from Tamil Nadu, and a lot of chess champions are coming up, So that's why I asked.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks. Anyway, we will talk on some other subjects sometime later.
Okay, okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, uncle.